None of us choose our starting point. You don't pick the place you are born into, the body we grew up in, or even the stories that people attach to us before we even speak. And yet, those starting points matter. If you've listened to episode 1, you probably already know you are not just one thing. You are your age, your background, your gender, your body, the place you live, the money you grew up with, and 100 details that people notice before you even had time to react. But here's the twist. These things doesn't work in isolation. They overlap, and this can change how the world treats you. That overlap, it's the way different parts of your identity are combined. And all of that shapes your life experiences and even your voice. But guess what? This has a name, and it's what we call intersectionality. Welcome to PINGG, a podcast by the SINCRONY project, where we will have a look into powerful and inclusive narratives generated for good. Dear listener, before we jump into this topic, let's picture it. Think of intersectionality like standing at a crossroads where different roads meet. One road is called, let's say, gender road. Another is race road. And maybe there are more roads too, like class, disability, sexuality, or migration. Intersectionality is about understanding what happens when all of those roads meet. And here's something surprising. This term is more recent than many people think. It was coined by Kimberly Crenshaw, a brilliant American civil rights advocate, legal scholar, professor, and expert in race and gender issues. Basically, an absolute icon on this topic. So let's listen to her.
Many years ago, I began to use the term intersectionality to deal with the fact that many of our social justice problems like racism and sexism are often overlapping, creating multiple levels of social injustice. Particularly those who haven't followed demarginalizing from its initial iteration often mistakenly think that intersectionality is only about multiple identities. I've got 3, you've got 6, the identity question goes on and on. Some colleagues in Germany undertook to count how many intersections there are. Last count, there were like 17 or something. It was an attempt to map them all. That's not, at least my articulation of intersectionality. Intersectionality is not primarily about identity. It's about how structures make certain identities the consequence of and the vehicle for vulnerability. So if you want to know how many intersections matter, you've got to look at the context. What's happening? What kind of discrimination is going on? What are the policies? What are the institutional structures that play a role in contributing to the exclusion of some people and not others?
And thanks to Kimberly's brilliant concept, she has helped people better understand themselves. It has also shaped research in powerful ways. For example, in our project, SINCRONY, intersectionality is central to how we understand young people's voices and the way they participate in every way in society. Alright, stay with me with a second because I'm going to take a small detour. Let's keep building in the concept and dive into The Hunger Games. Yes, the book series and also the saga of movies. I know, but trust me, and it's not just because I love a bit of drama. In this story, the world is split into 12 districts, controlled by a rich, powerful, and dictatorship capital. From District 1 to District 12, life isn't the same for all. The system is built on inequalities, and it's enforced from the top. And if inequalities and poverty wasn't enough, once a year, the capital forces each district to send young people into a televised fight to death. It's brutal, it's absurd, and it's designed to remind everyone who holds the power. And here's the detail that matters for what we are talking about today. You don't choose your district, you are born into it. And the way society, the capital, treats the population is just based on their origins and social status. For example, the protagonist, Katniss Everdeen, doesn't walk into that arena as just Katniss. She walks in as District 12, the poor one, the overlooked one, the one people underestimate. Until she becomes the most badass character ever because any of those constructs could define her. And just for the record, that arena can be your class, can be your work, Her identity shapes the way people see her and the way they treat her, and also the chances she gets at the Hunger Games. But it does not fully define who she is, because Katniss also has strengths. She is skilled, observant, resilient, and deeply aware of the world around her. And that's where the metaphor connects with intersectionality. The labels society places on you can create barriers, yes, but they do not tell you the whole story. Your different intersections can also hold knowledge, strength, survival, community, and perspective. Everyone is fighting their own arenas, any space where power, inequality, and identity collide. We all move through arenas shaped by rules we did not make. Now, obviously, our world isn't literally the Hunger Games. This is a metaphor, and maybe a slightly intense one. But I'm using it because it makes one thing really clear. You enter life with a starting point you didn't choose, and the world reacts to that starting point in ways that are not always fair. But hey, don't panic, there is hope. And in Synchrony, that's exactly what we're working. So, let's listen to one of our researchers, Sujata Subramania. How would you define intersectionality?
Hi, my name is Sujata Subramanian. I'm a postdoctoral researcher with the SINCRONY project. My expertise is in the field of women's gender and sexuality studies. I work at the University of Innsbruck. So in the SINCRONY project, I am working on building the intersectional framework that the project uses in developing its tools. So I understand intersectionality as a framework for understanding people's experiences of power, including their experiences with inequality. What intersectionality tells us is that the different aspects of a person's identity, whether it is their sexual identity, their gender identity, all of this comes together to shape their experiences with different institutions, their experiences with how they might be represented. And what intersectionality tells us is that these different aspects cannot be separated. So to give you an example, when I'm sitting here, I'm of course an expert in women's gender and sexuality studies, but I'm also an immigrant, I'm also a woman of color, and all of this is going to shape how I approach the project, how I experience the different spaces in the project. So none of these parts of my identity can be separated, and intersectionality as a tool helps me understand these different experiences.
So, intersectionality is a strong concept, right?
Intersectionality as a tool helps us understand how these categories of identity, these aspects of identity, even within the same person, are fluid. They are dependent on context and they shift across time and space. It can also help us understand how these experiences of privilege and marginalization can shift across time and space. So for example, if I take the case of a man who works with a blue-collar job, this person might experience some amount of power in the context of their family. They might be able to participate in decision-making to a greater extent than, say, the women in the family. But the same person might find themselves not being part of the decision-making processes in their organization. So it's the same person, but their experiences with power, their experiences with decision making can shift in the same day itself.
Thank you, Sujata. Now, what does a 21-year-old person from Spain think about intersectionality?
It took me some time because I thought it was important to actually make a thoughtful answer, especially because it's a complex thing and there are a lot of things inside of it. So I would define intersectionality as reality without absolute truths, perceived by sensitivity and on recognition of human rights and social justice. Yay! Any intersectional person is able to acknowledge how it feels. Maybe not from an academical perspective, maybe not using complicated terminology, but from the life experience it becomes. Acknowledging this is important to take action and advocate for laws and sensitivities that will protect the human right to be, through identity, experimentation, play, and human dignity. Even though there are some factors that can change more easily through life, and that they all change to some extent with time and place because everything happens in a situated way, the impact is done and carried. In my opinion, the focus should be on not allowing inhumane situations to happen and protecting the right to develop abilities for a better life experience.
Wow, that was powerful. Let's listen to a 24-year-old woman from Spain talking about accent.
As a young Andalusian woman, I experienced this through both gender and regional identity. In Spain, the Andalusian accent is often associated with lower prestige, and this stigma is sometimes internalized, with Andalusians themselves feeling ashamed of their own way of speaking. This is not a linguistic reality, but a social construction. As a woman, stereotypes around emotionality are also amplified through this lens, especially in professional context where there can even be reluctance, including among women actually, to hire other women, and where these amplified roles can work against us, definitely. However, I do not accept these labels as definitions. They're perceptions, not identity. And what really defines me is not my accent, but who I am beyond it.
Yep, accent is an intersectionality, and in the SINCRONY project, we are building tools and educational materials to enable participation in lots of different places of our society. Let me introduce you to Cinzia Albanese, talking about how the project approached this concept.
We need to recognize that young people are agentic, and that they have power, that they are capable. And we need also to recognize that they are involved in power dynamics with adults. So really, we also need to consider that and help adults to understand that young people are diverse, that they have experiences that are shaped by their intersectional identities, such as race, gender, ability, sexuality, and age. Youth-led PAR means youth-led participatory action research. Basically, we can work with young people. They can do participatory action research on issues they decide. It could be academic pressure, grading system, or inclusion in school. But it could be also something very different, like snacks in the vending machines. Really, young people are entitled of making decisions. So they choose their own topic. They conduct research and can use different tools like interviews, surveys, or whatever they like. They analyze the finding and develop potential solutions and present these solutions for discussion and decision making.
Last but not least, it's time to bring my colleague Mario Magania, Chief Communications Officer at SINCRONY. Mario, can you break the term down for us in your own creative way?
To me, it means that inequality is not act alone. They overlap and interact, and that create a specific experience that cannot understand by looking only one factor. I like to think about the using colors. Green is not yellow than blue. It's a different color with their own effects, even though it's made from the other two colors. This way to think has helped me to understand two things. First, that my experience is not universal. And second, that in my context, I move with privilege. At the same time, it helped me to notice the barriers that other people face when they try to participate and have their own voice. Let me give a personal example on how different layers can influence participation. Like you note, I find it hard to speak up because English limits me, and my think is very associative, that I jump from one idea to other without any order. Also, when I'm with people who are very expert in specific topics, I can feel like an outsider, and I prefer to stay quiet. So if I go back with the colors, my difficulty with English is like yellow, is language. My lack of experience in some topics is like blue, formal education, and the fear that speak is like green. It's something different.
Well, I've got to say that I've never expected intersectionality to be explained with colors, but I like it. Okay, today we explore a very important concept from loads of different angles with a really diverse mix of voices and perspectives. And if after all of this you are still like, wait, what? Feel free to go back, listen again, or dive a bit deeper into what the SINCRONY project is all about. And hey, my name is Jorge, by the way. This doesn't stop here. We'll be back very soon with a new episode, so stay tuned. And thank you for listening. Bye bye!